Hi guys, I saw a message that got me a little bit concerned about something that would fundamentally impact the classic car community, owners of classic cars and fans as well. Could the UK Chancellor be about to scrap the exemptions for cars older than 40 years? I'll explain right after this.
A brown car guy. Brown car guy.
So just a couple of days ago, I had some messages from a subscriber, Sanj in Northwest London. Something that I saw in his messages made me do a bit of a double take. So I figured I just had to highlight this to you all immediately, because if it hints at what I think it does, it could change everything in the classic car world. Back to Sanj for a minute. Now, he is trying to get his car registered as historic status, but he's having a bit of back and forth with the DVLA about what actually constitutes a car that's 40 years old. Now, the thing to keep in mind is that just because your car hits 40 years old, it doesn't automatically qualify as historic on the day that it turns 40. Unfortunately, the reality is the way that it works is, according to the official website, your car has to have turned 40 in the year before the April that you apply for exemption. So, for example, this year, 2023, if you were to get exemption from vehicle tax and MOTs, it would have to have been from the 1st of April. If and only if your car was built before the 1st of January 1983 or was registered before the 8th of January 1983. So Sanj felt that this was all a bit misleading and deceptive, quite frankly, so he wrote to the DVLA and he got a response from someone signing the email off as James from the taxation complaints team at DVLA Swansea. Now I'll read this out to you. James wrote that thank you for contacting us. I have been asked to investigate and reply. Firstly, please accept our apologies for inconvenience or stress caused. I'm sorry for the difficulties that you have experienced and appreciate your frustration with the current process we have in place for customers who are entitled to the reduced rate of vehicle tax. In one of the Chancellor's previous budgets, he announced that there would be a 40-year rolling exemption for historic vehicles. This was introduced on 1st of April 2016. This means that vehicles which are 40 years old will become eligible for the historic tax class from 1st of April each year. So, e.g., a vehicle which was manufactured before 1st of January 1985 will be eligible for historic tax class from April 2025. So it's more to do with the budget change in April, not when the vehicle reaches 40 years old, as the Chancellor could make the decision to put an end to the rolling exemption. Wait, what? It's that last line that made me choke on my tea, quite frankly. Let me read that for you again. As the Chancellor could make the decision to put an end to the rolling exemption. Well, and you know what? It's an oddly tacked on sentence as well, a little bit random if you ask me, because let me read you that whole last paragraph again and maybe you'll see what I mean. So it's more to do with the budget change in April, not when the vehicle reaches 40 years old, as the Chancellor could make the decision to put an end to the rolling exemption. See, those two sentences, they don't even seem to fit together. So why even bring that up? It's curious, yeah? Now, I can't find anything on this online or in the news or anything like that, but don't forget that Chancellor Jeremy Hunt is set to make his autumn statement on 22nd of November. That's in just over a month from now. And I wonder if this constitutes something of a leak in his plans in some way. When it comes to the classic car world, something like this could potentially really affect the industry quite significantly. But with government coffers losing out on tax revenue as motorists switch to electric cars, until of course they are taxed from 2025, could it be that they're trying to withdraw these tax exemptions from classics in order to some way recoup some of that lost revenue? Would it really be worth it? Well, if you think about it, there are actually 1.5 million vehicles that are registered under historic status here in the UK. So that could potentially amount to between £250 million and £500 million. On the other hand, I could be completely wrong about this, or I could be wrong about the direction of change. And it could be that, well, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, who of course has recently said that he's now suddenly a friend of the motorists, maybe the change that is coming is actually a positive one, if there's a change coming, of course. Myself and others have been calling for the historic vehicle exemption age to be reduced to 30 years rolling, to bring it in line with FIFA, which is the international UN-sanctioned Federation of Classic Cars, because they describe classic cars as being cars over 30 years old, not over 40 years old, which is really quite excessive if you think about it, and a lot of great cars fall into that gap. In fact, I did a video about that some time ago, and I'll put the link to that below in the description. Back to this situation though, if anyone out there has any news or information on this, especially if they are aware of any changes to the historic car exemption that may be in the pipeline or anything that's being considered, please do let me know urgently what's going on, or just explain to me what that sentence could actually mean in this context. Big Ben's chiming, it's time up for classic car exemption. Catch you all in the next video.
Brown car guy.
Hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please hit the like button and share this video as well if you can. And while you're at it, check out these guys who also sponsor my content. I am deeply grateful to them because it helps me to buy new equipment, put fuel in the cars, and yes, buy a cup of coffee. You can do the same. Just go here or right here on YouTube. Just hit these 3 little dots down here and click on thanks. Make sure you're signed in first. My content is free, but this is how you can help me keep it that way. I may even send you a gift. Oh, by the way, watch this next.